Good morning and welcome to 64 Weeks of Possibility. We are on week 11. Thank you for joining me live and, of course, on the replay. Wherever you are catching this, let me know you're here so that I can send you some love and answer any questions that you might have that rise up from this conversation. So, in the last few days, I've had several conversations with clients about how our minds operate. And the possibility that came up for me yesterday and today is, what if you could just let your mind off the hook? Our poor little minds are doing the best that they can to just keep us safe. That's the job of the mind, to manipulate and try to control and try to run the show because it's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you in your little box where you are safe and comfortable and nothing bad can happen to you. The tiger cannot get you. That's what's happening on an energetic level. So here's the thing though. If you want to grow and expand, you have to release the mind from its role of trying to control and manipulate. Because the mind doesn't know any better. The mind is running off of past programming and your memories and your childhood and what your parents taught you and all of the beliefs that you have picked up along the way about how life works. And it's simply not true. And in order to grow and expand, we need to step outside of that box and look at things from a different perspective. And the mind doesn't want to. The mind is like, no, I'm safe over here in this little box. That's where I'm going to stay. We need to have faith and we need to trust. But that faith and that trust does not come easily. That's where you need to spend the time in healing old wounds and looking at the stories that your parents told you, looking at the abuses that you may have experienced in your life, and practicing the art of forgiveness. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean you're letting those people who hurt you off the hook. They will still have the consequences that they need to deal with. But by holding on to that pain and that suffering and those wounds, we are holding toxic energy in our body. And that toxic energy is preventing us from moving forward, from growing and expanding, because our mind believes it still to be true. So practice the art of forgiveness. And yesterday I actually sat down and wrote a forgiveness letter to my mind, because my mind was caught up in this story that I have carried for 23 years. For those of you who don't know my story, my dad passed away suddenly when I was 16. And in that moment, I made a decision. I created the belief in my mind that the universe had abandoned me and that there was no rhyme or reason to life, that we were living in chaos and that everything was happening to me. And that resulted in a series of poor decisions, abuse after abuse after abuse. Me choosing abusive relationships, me choosing to abuse myself through cocaine addiction and alcohol addiction and workaholism, and the list goes on. I traveled around the world seeking the answer, trying to find a solution to the pain that I was carrying within my body, and not knowing at the time that it was my mind that was holding on. And so in the last year or so, for those of you who don't know, I lost my dog. My dog of 15 years passed away, and he was my best friend. He was the one being who helped me get through some of the toughest times in my life and helped me to navigate some really dark places in my world. And when he passed away this spring, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to navigate it. And in that losing of him, I faced death head on for the first time since my father passed away. After my dad passed away, I had both sets of grandparents pass away, 2 uncles pass away. There was a lot of death in my family, and I refused to go to any of those funerals. My belief was that I didn't want to face it. I was running away from it. I was avoiding it. I didn't want to see it. And so I stayed away from it. And in that, did not face death. And so in facing my dog's death this year, I had to face my dad's death all over again. And this year, my mom and my brother and I have decided to go and spread dad's ashes. And we had a big plan. And that plan fell through yesterday. We're supposed to go next week to go and do that. And that plan has fallen through. And my mind yesterday got caught up in the trying to control and this is the way it's supposed to be. I had a plan. This is what's supposed to happen. How can I honor my father if this plan doesn't work? If we take this back to a smaller level as an entrepreneur, how can I do this thing if this plan I created doesn't work? But here's the thing. I look at the universe as this big giant maze, and every night when you go to bed, the maze changes. So the plan never stays the same. The idea of creating year-long business plans is a thing of the past. I don't know if you've noticed, but things are changing a hell of a lot faster than that. And so when we release attachment to the plan, when we allow our minds to be off the hook for trying to control and manipulate and fix things, when we allow our minds to just take a step back for a moment and we breathe into our heart and we ask, what else could be true? I wonder what's possible in this moment. This plan didn't work, so what other plan could? And we lean into other possibilities. And we allow ourselves to make other choices. So my question for you today is, what if you could let your mind off the hook? And in doing that, you may find that there is some negativity to clear, that maybe your parents said something to you when you were 7 years old that you haven't been able to let go of. Or maybe somebody said something to you yesterday that you're still holding on to and it's painful. Or maybe you're caught up in comparison and wondering how so-and-so is able to do this thing and I can't figure it out. Or maybe you're caught in an abusive relationship and you just can't figure out how to take your power back. If that is the case, then I invite you to take a journey with me. 3 years ago, I met my coach and mentor, Joy Kingsborough. And at the time, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. For some reason, I was just pulled to invest in her work. And that 3-year journey has changed my life in ways that I cannot even describe. I have become myself again. I remembered who I am. And I took my power back and I released all of the toxicity that I've been carrying. And I continue to release more and more toxicity as I move forward, knowing the tools that she has taught me and allowing my mind to be off the hook for any kind of control. So Joy Kingsborough and I have created a Negativity Detox. It is a 5-day video series that you can catch. I will drop the link in the comments here so that you can get access to that. In those conversations, they're about 30-minute videos for 5 days. And in those conversations, we talk about how to release the toxicity, how to forgive and let go without letting that person off the hook. It's about releasing the toxicity that you're carrying, the anger, the frustration, the pain. And when you can let that go and you're willing to look into the depths of your own soul, you're willing to face yourself in the mirror. When you can do that, all of a sudden your mind starts to release control just a little bit. And you can start making better decisions. You can start fluctuating with the plan. And life gets so much easier. So I do hope you will join that Negativity Detox. It is free. So what's stopping you? I hope you have an amazing week. My name is Cindy. Thank you for being here. I love you. I believe in you, and I see your power. Bye for now.